When it comes to professional sportsmen, the players of the National Basketball Association seem to have a pretty great track record when it comes to their personal lives. In fact, dating beautiful celebrities seems to be a rite of passage through which basketball legends solidify themselves within the league, showing that they can be successful both on and off the court. But who are the NBA players who have truly made a name for themselves by dating some of the most gorgeous celebrities that the world has to offer? Well, whether you're a fan of the game or just want to know more about the dating lives of some of your favorite players, you've come to the right place, as we're about to explore some of the most awe-inducing relationships of the NBA. So strap yourselves in and get ready for a bumpy ride, as things are about to get interesting. But before we get into it, make sure to leave a like and subscribe with notifications on so you don't miss out on any of the new videos we post. 1. Sasha Vujacic. First up on our list is a man by the name of Sasha Vujacic, who is a Slovenian professional currently acting as the leading shooting guard of the New York Knicks. But that's not the only team that the star has played for in the last few years. In fact, Vujacic played his first professional game for the Los Angeles Lakers after being drafted as their number 1 pick back in 2004. He then found himself in both Italy and Turkey, where he also played ball for a number of teams before coming back to the United States for some more NBA action. But by far his greatest accomplishment to date took place in 2009 when he ended up meeting Grand Slam tennis star and Sports Illustrated model Maria Sharapova. For those of you who don't know, Sharapova is considered to be one of the greatest and most attractive tennis legends of the century, with her skills on the court leading to her lifting of 4 Grand Slam titles. The two lovebirds apparently met at a mutual friend's barbecue and bonded over their illustrious careers. Clearly caught up in an incredible relationship with a drop-dead gorgeous superstar, Vujacic decided to follow the advice of the queen bee herself by putting a ring on it, resulting in Sharapova agreeing to marry him just a year after they had initially met. But after a grand total of 2 years together, the couple decided to call things off without informing fans of the reason for their breakup. But it goes without saying, things didn't exactly end on good terms, with Vujacic responding to a question about the failed relationship by simply saying, "I can't hear you." What? But hey, at least he ended up dating Sharapova for 3 whole years, making him one of the luckiest men in the history of the world. 2. Serge Ibaka. Another lucky NBA player is Serge Ibaka, who is a Congolese Spanish professional basketball player that has found himself playing for quite a few teams in his history with the league. And although his most recent team was the Toronto Raptors, it must be said that he hasn't really made a massive impact on the NBA. That being said, he did end up making waves back in 2012 when he started to date one of the most famous singers and record producers at the time. We are of course referring to the one and only Carrie Hilson. It might be true that Hilson has been somewhat forgotten in recent days, but at the time of dating, she had been writing songs for the likes of Britney Spears, the Pussycat Dolls, and Mary J. Blige. She also was able to top the charts alongside Timbaland with their number 1 hit single, The Way I Are, which was as catchy as it was grammatically incorrect. As one of the biggest names in the hip-hop industry, Hilson was even considered by many to be far more famous than Ibaka, whose name became a lot more popular after she agreed to give him her heart. Things weren't great for the couple though, with reports indicating that the relationship was pretty toxic and rife with trust issues. And it looks like there was a reason for this, with the relationship ending in 2016 after Ibaka discovered that he wasn't the only significant other in Carrie Hilson's life. Clearly an embarrassing end to one of the most aesthetically pleasing couples in the history of the NBA. Pity it had to end so suddenly. 3. Nick Young. And then we have the infamous Nick Young, who ran the court for the Los Angeles Lakers back when he was nicknamed Swaggy P a few years ago. And while his time on the court might have been forgotten by now, there's absolutely no way that NBA fans will ever forget how he screwed up one of the best relationships he could have ever gotten himself into. For those of you who don't know, Young went on to date the famous, fancy Australia-born rap artist Iggy Azalea just before the release of her number 1 album. Before this, she had moved to the United States at the age of 16 to make a name for herself and ended up being signed to T.I.'s record label in 2012. She had released a few hit-and-miss tracks during the youth of her relationship with Young, but then shot up in recognition by becoming the first non-American female rapper to ever reach the top of the Billboard charts. Suffice to say, she was no longer considered to be just the arm candy of Nick Young. She quickly went on to make a name for herself as one of the most attractive and stimulating female rap artists of the decade. And things looked to be going well despite this massive change that was taking place in Iggy's life. The couple decided to live together in California while they got to know one another, with this eventually leading to them announcing their engagement in 2015. But it didn't take long for Iggy to call this engagement off. In fact, this latter announcement was made just under a year after the first. As it turns out, she came back from tour to find some security footage of Young bringing another woman back to their shared home. And it's not like this was an innocent exchange of ideas, with the woman in question being his ex-girlfriend at the time and mother to his son. But maybe this was supposed to happen, as Young now not only has a son with her, but a beautiful little daughter as well. He did end up losing Iggy Azalea though, as well as his career, so we suppose the moral of the story is, you win some and you lose some. 4. Tristan Thompson. Next up on our list is Tristan Thompson, the Canadian professional NBA player who broke records by becoming becoming the highest drafted Canadian in NBA history back in 2011. He currently plays as a power forward for the Boston Celtics, but has had his name up in lights for a lot more than his performances across the past few years. You see, Tristan Thompson appears to be the latest victim of the power-hungry Kardashian clan, with him entering into a relationship with the infamous Khloe Kardashian just a few months ago. For those of you who have been living under a rock, Khloe is considered to be one of the biggest names in the history of American reality television, with her family making a name for itself through the success of Keeping Up with the Kardashians. Over the years, she has shown that, like her sister, she definitely has a type. And since the category of tall, dark, and handsome often apply to a great many basketball players, we shouldn't be surprised to hear that she was able to sink her teeth into Tristan Thompson. Funny enough, after this relationship became public, Tristan ended up making headlines by disclosing the fact that his teammates were urging him to cut ties with Khloe before she takes the Kardashian curse any further into the playoffs. And we couldn't agree more with his teammates, as it really looks as if Tristan is the furthest thing from happy when it comes to spending time with Khloe. Sure, she's incredibly attractive and whatnot, but that family is absolutely mental. No doubt about it. And the two have had one of the most tumultuous relationships on our list. In fact, it appears they broke up again just a few days ago, but we know very well that there's a chance they'll be getting back together before this video is even published. So good luck to you, Tristan. Be strong. 5. J.R. Smith. As one of the most recognizable faces in the Los Angeles Lakers, J.R. Smith can be seen tearing up the court on the odd occasion. But back when he was playing for the Cleveland Cavaliers, he made one of the best decisions of his life, which was to go for the heart of the Queen of Barbados. We are, of course, referring to his relationship with the one and only Rihanna, who after signing with Def Jam Records and being taken under the wing of Jay-Z, went on to become one of the most famous singers of her generation. At the time, it felt like every hit Rihanna spat out became an instant success, with her reaching sales of over 230 million records worldwide a few years into her career. Suffice to say, JR didn't stand a chance when it came to controlling the relationship and had to just hang on for dear life while enjoying the ride. This happened back in 2012 when the two lovebirds were seen holding hands and getting cozy with one another. But fans of J.R. Smith will know that this relationship didn't last very long. In fact, this was almost guaranteed from the start, considering how Smith was noted as being one of the most cocky and bizarre players of the time. Since Rihanna was far from a pushover, this tumultuous relationship came crashing down in no time, with Rihanna carrying on to her will they won't they relationship with Drake. And since Smith is currently married to the love of his life, Jewel Harris, it looks like things worked out for the best. What do you think of these legends of the game, though? Be sure to let us know in the comments section down below.